Hey, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another video. This is another paid request, this time from Mark. Thank you so much for that. And for those interested in requesting pretty much any type of videos, topics, reactions, reviews, re-reviews, rankings, lists, where it may be, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box. It could be for pretty much anything. And I didn't excuse background noise, whether it be people going around, neighbors' roosters doing their business, other people doing stuff. It is a holiday that I'm recording today, so some people don't have school, other things of that nature, so sorry about that. But Mark wanted me, he is a big fan of Titanic. And pretty much he asked, listen, I know you're not really into it, but I'm just curious as to why you dislike the film, why is not your cup of tea. Does he grew up the film? He got introduced to James Cameron with Terminator 2 and Titanic. And instead of just a regular review, I'm going to tell us why I dislike Titanic. I've never been a fan of Titanic. Right off the bat. I will give credit, the special effects, what James Cameron was able to do at that time was formidable, was commendable, and was a technical achievement. And there's a lot of guts and glory and risk, because if it failed, it would have killed his career. It was the biggest film of its time, and it became the biggest film of its time, and then became the most successful film of its time. And it was a big Oscar winner, won Best Picture, won Best Director. And James Cameron was pretty much called the king of the world, and then Avatar came out years and years later, and once again, he was the king of the world, highest successful film of all time. And I'm not going to sit here and say Titanic is a piece of shit yeah, I'll say that as to be funny, but if I'm being serious, it's not that it has bad acting. Leonardo DiCaprio, Kate Winslet, I think they've done better. I think they've done much better. But I mean, you got Bill Paxton, Billy Zane. Again, as a technical achievement, is very well done. But I think the movie is fucking boring. I think the movie is way overlong. I remember when I first saw this, I was about 14 years old. And this is a film that got so much hype. It was insane. Everywhere you looked, they're talking about Titanic, Titanic, Titus, the Titanic. And it got to a point where you just got sick and fucking tired of it. Now, you just say that's not fair to the film. I'm just telling you that's how it was for me, and I bet there's other people that felt the same way. You're 14 years old. James Cameron I grew up with was Aliens. Like, this is the James Cameron I grew up with. Aliens. The Terminator. Even, The Abyss. True Lies. Even The Abyss, which is more of a love story, and in my opinion, a better love story. I know not everyone loves The Abyss. I do. And if I want to see James Cameron tackled a love story in The Terminator. I think The Terminator was a better love story. I think The Abyss was a better love story than Titanic. But The Abyss, when it came out, didn't get the accolades, didn't get the box office. But I think The Abyss is much more of... It was a technical achievement on its own. But I think it was more consistent in its intensity. It didn't use a real-life tragedy to put a fucking love story in there, which then Michael Bay did with Pearl Harbor. So it just comes off a bit weird. And... my stomach literally groaned at that. Yeah, I know. And, when I'm 14, yeah, I'll be honest. When I was 14, the movies I was gravitating towards was more action, horror, sci-fi. It was more of a Die Hard, or more of an Aliens, or more of even Ninja Turtles, or more of something else. But even as I've grown, I like... not just appreciate, but I like and enjoy 2001: A Space Odyssey and Doctor Strangelove, and I like The Shining. I like Braveheart. I just say I like Braveheart's not a film I rewatch a lot, but I like Braveheart. I like The Hurt Locker. I like The Shawshank Redemption. I like Forrest Gump. I like films that are not just action and horror. There are other elements. But to this, I always thought it was an overstuffed film that did not need to be 3 fucking hours long. And to me, it was the beginning of the end for James Cameron. Obviously not box office wise. I mean, this is all only opinion. James Cameron, career wise, made the best decision. Because won an Oscar, like you said, he was set for life. He didn't have to work for over a decade. Just all the money he made from it. And then Avatar, he did. I know he's going to do Avatar 2, 3, and 4, and apparently he filmed 2 and 3 and blah blah blah. I don't care. Listen, I don't care if a film is loved. Again, I mentioned a bunch of films that are loved that I also enjoy. I also enjoyed Goodfellas. I also enjoy, give me a list, I could pop a bunch of them right into you. Well, that sounds wrong. I popping fingers out people's assholes. But to me, it just felt like James Cameron was losing his balls. Now, it worked out for him financially, but I would say Linda Hamilton took him in the divorce, but they didn't divorce till 99, and this came out in 97. Maybe Linda Hamilton, because he was married to Linda Hamilton, Sarah Connor herself. Maybe Linda Hamilton got fucking tired of Jamie Tammy. Like, to me, this is James Cameron. Aliens, The Terminator, True Lies, The Abyss. That's James Cameron. This is when it became Jimmy Tammy. And maybe Linda Hamilton got tired of him saying, I'm king of the world. Got fucking sick of it. And that's why she fucking divorced him. And then took his balls in the divorce. But I don't think this film needed to be over 3 fucking hours long. It's a bladder buster. I don't think there's any suspense. People talk about how there's suspense. No, I'm sorry, there is no fucking suspense. I can only speak for myself. Every time I do a review, I have to keep saying this, but anytime I do a review, like I say, I am only speaking for myself. And in my opinion, no, I don't think there's any fucking suspense in this movie. There's no suspense because you know Titanic, you know what the fuck's going to happen, you know the boat's going to sink, and you wait 3 hours for the boat to sink. You know that Kate Winslet's character lives, because at the very beginning of the film you see an older version of her, Rose, talking to Bill Paxton. And you know Leonardo DiCaprio's character is dead. Just what's the explanation going to be? What else would it be? They survived and they said, nah, I'm going to go back and being homeless or streeter. Yeah. Nah, didn't quite work out. Nah, I broke up with the bitch. No. Either he died of, what? We lived a happy life, he died, or he dies there. If you just had her go, yeah, he got cancer, he got, appendicitis, he got cancer up the butthole, he died from that. Well, direction story-wise, that wouldn't be powerful, so it's going to be... Which is funny because Leonardo DiCaprio kind of did that in Romeo and Juliet years before, only one dies instead of both of them dying. So to me, I'm like, okay, I know Rose is going to live. I know Jack, Leonardo DiCaprio's character, is going to die. I know the boat's going to sink. What the fuck suspense am I waiting for? I guess you're just waiting for when's it going to happen. But even then, it's... I don't want to say predetermined, that's the wrong phrase. But it's not like, oh shit. It's like, oh, iceberg straight ahead, build up, build up. And yeah, some of the effects, like when the iceberg hits and some of the ice hits it, those effects don't hold up the best. The other stuff, the more practical stuff with real stuff inside the ship being blown up and pipes burst here and there, going up, breaking. Nice technical achievement. Acting-wise, I think Leonardo DiCaprio I like as an actor. I think he does okay in the film. I do think he's done better. I think he Wolf of Wall Street, The Revenant, Inception. I think he's done better work since then. That's probably why Leo doesn't fucking talk about this movie much. Even though it was the most successful film of its time. I think Kate Winslet has done better since. And like I keep mentioning The Abyss, I think The Abyss was a better love story because I felt more of the intensity. It didn't have to take 3 fucking hours to film, or I mean to showcase that. And I'm sorry, the one scene with Ed Harris pounding on his former wife, you never gave up on anything in your life, now fight, fight, fight. That got more feelings, more powerful performance, more impact than any goddamn moment in this movie. But The Abyss, when it came out, it got pushed to the wayside. Like pretty much all underwater films of '89, which is a shame. Cool, my favorite, Leviathan. That's why I don't really blame The Abyss, because all of them got pushed aside. And they all got kind of dumped. And to me, The Abyss didn't deserve that. I'm like, I saw James Cameron do this love story. He did it better. Because you had actors that were more in their A game. You had a story that was more tightly paced. Billy Zane as a villain is campy. Compared to like Michael Biehn. Like with how intense everything is. And of course this should be an intense movie. It's about thousands and thousands of fucking people dying at the end of the Titanic sinking. They're going to fucking die. You have the people playing the music, and the lower class can't get to the boat, so they die. But then you have Billy Zane. I'll be too happy together. He was never scary or intimidating or a threat. He was just campy, ready for the mustache to twirl. Hello, darling. Snidely Whiplash. Now, again, compared to the other James, I keep saying other. Again, The Terminator is a good love story as well. I'm just using The Abyss as a comparison, just because. Just The Terminator at least gets the respect. The Abyss doesn't. But you look at Michael Biehn and that villain in The Abyss, and he's disturbed and he's kind of creepy, and he's not all there. And this is the fight he has with Ed Harris. That's more of an intense situation, which makes sense with what they're going, what's happening in their surroundings. The score by James Horner is not too bad, but at the same time, that Celine Dion song, I got so fucking sick of it. I'm sure, it was alright to listen to it now because I haven't heard the fucking song in like 20 years. But when that movie came out, that song would pop up in every fucking store you went to. When you went to a store that did groceries, you went to a store that shop for clothes, you went to a store that shop even for movies. That fucking song, My Heart Will Go On, would fucking play endlessly, non-stop, to the point that your fucking eardrums are bleeding and pleading for glory, the glory of death or suicide. Or please close your eardrums so you can't hear me anymore. I just... Fucking hell, I got so... It's almost like PTSD flashback hearing that fucking song. And like the love story, I know people love the love story. Again, Starman I think is a good love story. I think The Abyss and The Terminator are good love stories. This, it's okay, Rose, don't kill yourself. Oh, sometime later, now let me teach you how to spit. I was like, Rose, you're not going to kill yourself? Actually, you know what? No, you're not going to jump. What? Yeah, you're not going to jump. Yeah, that's good advice, Leo. Jack. jack off. And then, oh, let's have a scene where, because he's the street urchin, because he's from the streets, he's going to teach her how to spit. Well, you know what? If you want a rich girl, like hire, and a guy who's been on the streets, you know what? Aladdin, the Disney animated film, did that fucking love story better than this. And then anytime when Rose did that thing, and she's like, I'm flying. I'm flying. I always laugh because it makes me think of Bill Murray and What About Bob. If you don't remember What About Bob, that's with him and Richard Dreyfuss. And there's a bit where Bill Murray's tied to the boat, and he's like, I'm sailing. I'm sailing. I can sail. I can sail. That's what it made me think of. But that's supposed to be a comedy. This isn't. You're supposed to be sincere. And she's going, I'm flying. I'm flying. No, I push you off, and then you're going to fly into the fucking ditch of the ocean. Even when he did to the end, how Leo's character dies, I'm like, this is horseshit. The fucking thing Rose is on is goddamn big enough to fit 2, maybe even 3 people on there. She was just a fucking prick. The fucking board, wherever it was so big. There's even people online that have showed, yeah, you can easily fit 2 people on here. It's just they needed him to die because of stupidity. Yeah, I get it, they're cold, but at the same time, yeah, you're cold, but I think with enough effort, you can still fucking do it. Just saying. And they definitely had enough fucking time to do it, instead of chit-chatting away. At least try to help them. Fuck that, you don't do this, fuck that. Or try to float to some other debris. It's the Titanic. I think there's going to be fucking other debris nearby to get you out of the fucking freezing water. It's not like no debris would exist. And you know what? There's a part of me that wished more of the movie. I wish the movie was Bill Paxton at the beginning when he's looking at the remains of the Titanic. I wish the movie was about that. Number 1, because I love Bill Paxton. I miss Bill Paxton. And number 2, it could be like an underwater adventure film. Maybe it could be like, I don't know, a period of how they first found the Titanic, or a good, well, I was going to say a good version of Race of the Titanic. Which I should actually see that. And you know, I looked at the year 1997, right? And these are the films that come out that year. Good Will Hunting, As Good as It Gets, Copland, Contact, Donnie Brasco, Grosse Point Blank, Chasing Amy. And that's not to mention films is more my cup. Like, all those films I enjoy. All those films I highly enjoy. I think they're much better than Titanic, but Titanic was the best picture and best director. Which is funny, because you look at the other Oscars, acting, it didn't win for. That was As Good as It Gets for Best Actor, John Nicholson, Best Actress, Helen Hunt, and then Good Will Hunting, Best Supporting Actor, Robin Williams. And it won Best Screenplay, Good Will Hunting did. At least one of the best screenplays. The other was L.A. Confidential. Really, it was like the technical aspects. The visual effects, the costume design, stuff like that. So I just find it funny that this is the best picture movie, but it wasn't because of the acting or the script, because they didn't win. The script didn't win, and the acting didn't win, or weren't even really nominated. So it's the best picture, not because of the script and not because of the actors. So then what makes a best picture? When you think about it, what does make a best picture? Obviously, that's in the eye of the beholder. When I look at a type of film and I see what type of film it is, and then what your interests lie, what is that film trying to convey, and also not just that, but how does it pertain to your personal taste? That's why if I did a fucking poll, which I had up for a bit as a test, at one point it was like 75% Titanic, and then at one point it was like going the other way because I had that in Copland. I think Copland is way better than this. Yes, I sincerely think so. I think he's got better acting. I think he's got a better story. I think he's got tighter pacing. I'm sorry. What has a better cast and acting? Yes, I think Copland has better cast and acting. Robert De Niro, Harvey Keitel, Ray Liotta, Sylvester Stallone, Peter Berg, Michael Rappaport than Titanic. Jack and Rose. Yes, I think Copland is a tighter pace movie. They need over 3 hours to tell a story. Other than the visuals of the Titanic, I'm sorry, there's nothing about this that's best picture material to me. I never thought so. I've seen better love stories. And I've seen much better films. I think Jimmy Tammy has done better films. Like, this is like the turning point of James Cameron, because you look at films like Aliens and The Terminator, even The Abyss, which he had more freedom with budget, but he was still somewhat limited to what he could do, at least to a point. Thus, you had to work more on script, story, characters. And this is a turning point where the characters and story don't matter, it's the technology that matters. Because I looked at The Terminator, I look at Aliens, and the characters work. Story works for what it needs to be, and it's exciting. And yeah, they're long films, but they felt more tightly paced than Titanic. Here, it was Jimmy going, it's all about the technology. And that's why when he would go on interviews, he would always talk. When he did interviews for Aliens and The Terminator, he talked about the story. What he did for Titanic and Avatar, it was all about the tech. How we made the Titanic this. How we made the Titanic that. How did we make the Titanic crack? How did we make the Titanic do this? Avatar. How did we make Pandora? How did we film the actors with Pandora? It was all about technology, tech. It's the same complaint people label on George Lucas. But, it's easier to say with George Lucas is even the original Star Wars. I like the original Star Wars films. I like the actors like Harrison Ford. But if you ask me which has better characters, I think The Terminator and Aliens has better character work than Star Wars. Although I do like those Star Wars films. I do. And that's what Jimmy Tammy did, in my opinion. And that's what he's continuing to do. And when he does his Avatar sequels, when they come out, you don't see more of that. More about the tech. Not story, not characters, or any of the sort. I like The Terminator, yeah, because it's cool like a horror film, and its style, and, Brad Fiddel's score, but I also like the characters. I like Sarah Connor. I like Kyle Reese. Aliens, I love the characters. Hicks, Hudson, Ripley, Newt, Vasquez. I like the characters in The Abyss. I like the sort of, I won't say truck driver, but they're like blue-collar group of people. We're at the bottom of the wheel, baby. It became less about that and more about the, again, they did deal with tech. Even The Abyss dealt heavily with the tech and the shooting. But it just seemed more the forefront here. Again, not giving shit about the love story. No suspense, because I already know how anything and everything's going to end. So I'm just waiting for the movie to catch up to me. And I felt this back in the day when I first saw it. I don't remember if I saw it in theaters. It might have been on VHS, because the VHS had the 2 tapes. Each one was like an hour and 30-some minutes, give or take. I mean, other than the visual aesthetic, I got nothing on this. I'm sorry. No, I'm not sorry. Fuck that. I'm not sorry. It's my opinion. I'm not going fucking sorry. Fuck being sorry. If people don't like it, oh well, tough. It's my opinion. You don't have to agree. But I think Titanic sucked. I think it's always sucked in the fact that it's overrated as fuck. No, it's not one of the worst movies of the 90s. It's not one of the worst movies of all time. Hell, I would rather watch it than Avatar. Because I think Avatar is worse. But yeah, if you give me a list of the top 10 overrated films of all time, Titanic would easily be on the list. And you know what? I have a feeling I wouldn't be alone. Even if I was, it doesn't matter because I have my own opinion. So with that said, thanks for watching. Take care. We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.